requesting a lot of, which is the Balayage Ombre. And at first I want to talk about what balayage really is. Now balayage actually means just to sweep. That is the word in French. So with balayage is that there's so many different ways to do it. It's not one specific way, and there's so many different results to be expected. Balayage Ombre, which is a more highlighted, fading into all the ends being lighter. So it still has that ombre look, but it is going to be with the balayage technique. So I'm going to go over that and show you how I do that. I'm going to be doing balayage ombre today on my model Karina. She has very thick, lioness hair, if you can see that. So this can be a really big challenge to most people that have a lot of hair, to be able to lift it properly and get that beautiful transition without it looking blotchy. You can see all these highlights kind of start a little bit away from her roots, and then they fade a little bit more into this caramel tone in the ends. So we're gonna kick this up a notch to a more blonde tone for the summertime, now that she's back for her second appointment. I want to show you guys how I do set up my tray so that you can see how easy it is to work once you have it like this. So I have my lightener here. I have a few foils. I'll show you why I use this later. My clips, my paddle board, my comb, and this is the brush that I love to use for balayage. I use these little pin clips to keep it nice and thin. So this is a good technique to keep your brush staying nice and thin so that you can work nice. And this brush is from Goldwell. You can get it from Goldwell. I have my plastic wrap on the edge. You can get this from Smart and Final. I like this one to work with because it's a thicker plastic, it tears easily, and it has this cardboard that it can feed up through. You're gonna wanna make sure to ask your client where they part their hair. That's gonna show you how to section off. So Karina parts her hair to the side. I'm going to section from the top crown to the back of her ear, just like this. So these front sections I'll be working separate from the back. And my first section down here is gonna be about 1.5 inches in width. And I'm gonna be working in horizontal sections all up from the crown, and then we'll do something different from the front. So this is what my starting sectioning will look like. I'm gonna pick up my first section, and I'm gonna use the edge of this brush. And I'm just gonna grab this whole piece right here. I'm gonna get my first dab of lightener, just about like that. And I'm gonna keep the hair strands really flat, and I'm gonna just begin to stroke that lightener on in the angle that I want. And this is all going to fade into the ends being lighter. So as you can see, you have these thinner highlights breaking it up from the top, and then this is all going to be painted with lightener. That's how you're gonna get that ombre effect, keeping all the lightener on top of the hair. And then as we get to the bottom, you can saturate it. And now we have our first strand that is a balayage ombre. Now I'm gonna have to get a foil all the way over there. I'm just gonna place it against her and drop the hair right over the foil. This is if they have really long hair, just so everything can stay organized and fall into the same place. Now I'm gonna pick up my next section. I don't wanna get all of this hair. I wanna leave some hair in between my next one that I pick up. So I'm just gonna casually pick this next group of hair up. And this hair strand is gonna be breaking that up side by side. Doing the same thing. And I'm gonna lay it on the same foil here. My first section is done. So I'm going to rip a piece of this cellophane. I'm gonna place it vertically over the hair that I had just completed. So now I'm just going to be working to my next section. I'm going to be working on the back section, and the next layer of hair that I'm going to grab is going to be about 1 inch to 1.5 inches apart from each section of hair. Then I'm going to work my way up to the top. Now I'm working to the front section. I'm going to be painting some strands on the outer pieces of the strand just so it highlights her face more. So in this area, you want to make sure that you keep the strands thinner so that you don't have these big chunky pieces falling. It's easier to start painting in the middle of your section and then stroke up higher as you get to the root to keep the strand being thin. Now you're just going to continue up till you get to the top of her hair. Now this is where you can just be creative. Every strand is going to be different from the rest. Everyone's hair is going to lie differently. So be sure to highlight the areas you really want to make stand out on that client's hair. This is my favorite part. This is where I get that signature highlight framing the face. It's called the money piece. This is that beautiful model highlight that just falls right by your eye and everybody goes crazy for. And basically how you want to paint this on is keeping it nice and blended at the roots and just coat it all in the ends so you get that really nice fade to blonde tips. Now I'm working on the left side and doing the same thing that I basically did on the right side, painting the strands that I want to highlight her face in the front and working it down to the bottom. And make sure you have fun when you balayage, because this is when an artist can get really creative. Give yourself that signature look that you're looking for. Since Karina parts her hair on the side, now I'm gonna match that same strand that I called the money piece on the opposite side. So be sure to kind of offset the strands so it doesn't look like they're both meeting at the same point. This gives a more natural blended effect. You're gonna continue with every section, covering it with the cellophane to protect the other hair. This is what it's gonna look like when it's done. And now I'm gonna let Karina sit until it lifts to the color I'm looking for. So now we have a cellophane monster. How to add that? Now I'm toning her hair with my all-time favorite Redken shades, and you're gonna see the beautiful color it's gonna come out to when I'm done. And now I'm gonna blow dry her hair, my signature blow dry. And guess what, guys? I'll have a tutorial coming out soon that you're gonna see my technique. So stay tuned for that video and be sure to subscribe. So as you can see, the before results is really pretty, but for summertime, I went ahead and kicked it up a notch to give her that blonde shine.